Hi, everybody. Here I am again to go over, right now I'm going to go over Ellis Island. This is the second of the three readings from last week that you could possibly write on. And before we do anything, we've already read this poem. We've actually read it twice because we read it as we did the guiding questions. We read it as we did the assessment questions. And now it's our turn to read it for our writing prompt. And the first thing I want to do is I want to look at that writing prompt. I want to make sure I fully understand exactly what it is that I'm being asked to write about. So I read it, and it's how do the words used to describe the Statue of Liberty contribute to the tone of the poem? So the key things here are how do words, so I'm going to focus on words that describe, so the subject of the words is the Statue of Liberty. So I'm only focusing on those words that deal with the Statue of Liberty. And then I'm asked to look at how they contribute to the tone of the poem. And remember, the tone is the attitude of the poet about the topic or about the subject which they're writing about. And they're writing about Ellis Island. And Ellis Island, as we've already talked about, is where millions of immigrants came to the United States. So what I'm really looking to see now is how does the description of the Statue of Liberty reveal to me what the author thinks about immigration? So that's how I break down that prompt. So the first thing now I want to go back and do, I've read this poem multiple times by this time, so I want to very quickly focus on the words that are used to talk about the Statue of Liberty. And they come here where it says, on its way to the island of the tall woman, green as dreams of forests and meadows, waiting for those who worked 1,000 years yet never owned their own. So I'm going to make sure that I highlight those. I highlight them in red or pink because I know that this is going to be my concrete detail. This is my evidence. This is what I'm going to base my thesis on. So I've collected evidence. Now I've got one half of my rating started. Now I have to look at, okay, so what is going to be my assertion about the author's attitude? So what very specific words can I use to describe how this author feels about Ellis Island or about immigration? So now I go back and I quickly read my entire poem. Beyond the red brick of Ellis Island, where two Slovak children who became my grandparents waited the long days of quarantine after leaving the sickness, the old empires of Europe, a circle-lined ship slips easily on its way to the island of the tall woman, green as dreams of forests and meadows, waiting for those who'd worked 1,000 years yet never owned their own. Like millions of others, I too come to this island, 9 decades, the answer of dreams. So the first thing I notice, again, I've looked at this, I look at the top and how they left the sickness of Europe. So this is a key idea that I have. So I'm going to put it there. This is a sort of a key idea about attitude. And then it talks about, I am the answer of dreams. So the answer of dreams. And I come to this island where this tall green woman lives, where this statue lives. And I come to this island, and it's as the answer of my grandparents' dreams. Now, he does continue the poem and say, yet only part of my blood loves that memory. Another voice speaks of native lands within this nation, lands invaded when the earth became owned, lands of those who followed the changing moon, knowledge of the seasons in their veins. So I'm wondering, do I have to include that in my attitude in this poem? And I can sense that there's a conflict in my author, in the poet, and in the speaker. But I want to go back and I want to look at the idea of Ellis Island and what it would have represented to the answer of dreams. And so I want to go back to this very specific description of the Statue of Liberty. And it is a tall woman, okay? So larger than life, green as dreams of forests and meadows is the second portion of it. I want to look at that imagery. Dreams, green as dreams of forests and meadows. So you want to think about, what do forests and meadows represent? Why compare her to forests and meadows? And then waiting for those who'd worked 1,000 years yet never owned their own. So you want to again look at that idea of how she is there waiting for people who leave sickness. So your job now is to decide, what is the attitude of these people who come? What is the attitude of this portion of his blood, the grandchild of two Slovak children who left illness and sickness behind them and hard work? And name the attitude. So you have to come up with, what is his attitude towards Ellis Island? And then talk to me about how the Statue of Liberty, and very specifically take apart those words, use specific phrases. And what you want to do there is you want to talk about each phrase and how each phrase contributes to that attitude. If you have any questions, as always, you're welcome to email me, but I know you can do this. Good luck.